Thanks for staying with us. So this topic is very important because in Nigeria today, quite a bit of families are jackpotting, and jackpot comes with its own peculiar issues, and I think it's something that is worth talking about. So there was a story that caught our attention about a 13-year-old boy who lived in the United Kingdom. He has taken legal action against his parents, accusing them of abandoning him emotionally and physically by enrolling him in a boarding school in Africa against his wishes. This teenager reached out to the British consulate and a child welfare organization after being sent to Africa under what he had said was visiting a sick relative. Now, his parents returned to the UK shortly after enrolling him in the school. Now, this is something quite a number of parents have done over the years. I know my brother did that same thing where he sent his kids to school in Nigeria for about a year or 2 years and took them back to the US. So it's a practice that many people have employed to help, put some discipline in your children, especially those that live abroad. But in this case, this child, this woke child now, realized that he could actually sue his parents for bringing him, because he's a British citizen, he's not a Nigerian citizen. Yeah. Now sue his parents for bringing him to Nigeria and to Africa, abandoning him. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081 270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages on X and also message on YouTube. We'll be happy to read the messages. So let me share with you the specific allegations. So according to his lawyer that is representing this 13-year-old, he said that, according to the lawyer, he said there is a clear evidence that he's being harmed emotionally, psychologically, and possibly physically in the environment in which he has been placed. The boy, who cannot be named for legal reasons, reportedly contacted the consulate in Africa. He said that the boy claimed that his parents were physically and emotionally abandoned him due to concerns that he was involved in gangs in London. So they saw the bad behavior, possible bad behavior, and they brought him to Africa. What are your thoughts on this? Because this has always been an option for parents living abroad. I will take you to Africa, I'll take you to Nigeria. But it's looking like these kids, that might not work anymore because the kids can actually sue you. They're waking up.
Wake up. I think that I don't agree with they are waking up or anything. I believe that threat is an insult, to everybody that is being studying in Nigeria. That threat of I'll send you to Nigeria is actually an insult. And I also believe that no parent should abdicate responsibility for raising their children to the school, which is what they are trying to do. There's a feeling of my children, I'm able to control my child in the UK or in America. I will send my child to Nigeria where they will discipline my child. Nobody can help you discipline your child. Nobody can help you raise your child. It's collaborative effort. Yeah. So when you now boarding house straight, it happens. Some parents used it in Nigeria. They will say you would go to military school. You will go to military school as a way to threaten and enforce discipline. Threats does not bring discipline out of any child. Totally wrong. Sure. BC has a book on parenting matter to help you on the journey. However, the fundamental is when you bring a child to the world, it is your responsibility to manage whatever that child is dealing with per time. Whether it is, in this case, this boy's case where he's now getting involved with gang. Because the spirit, Dr. Olimide Emmanuel says, the spirit of an addiction will locate the addiction. If a person that is addicted to something, any country they get to, they will find their spirit will connect with somebody that does that same drug, and they will link up. So if a boy already has a problem with cultism and those kind of bad gang, even if you bring him to Nigeria, guess what? His spirit will connect to the spirit of other people that are like him. Your job is find themselves. They will find themselves. It's not to send him away and say, go to Nigeria, you get better. Go to Africa, you get better. It is to deal with the situation, have a conversation with the child. Because resentment is why a child would now sue his parents to court. You didn't solve the problem, you just made it worse.
So what are your thoughts? The reason, let me get your angle, because some people have actually gotten results from this where their kids are sent home. So it depends on how you look at it. But what are your thoughts on this?
They think they've gotten results. They may not have gotten results. You know, we're very good at pretending in this part of the world, right? And I agree with Okbe wholeheartedly that a parent's responsibility is to raise their children to the best of their ability. If peradventure you are working, maybe your job took you out of the country and you needed help with maybe your family members to raise your child, that's a different thing. But for you to sit down and say you're going to send a teenager away because you cannot give that teenager that training that they are supposed to get, but other people would help you do that. That's leaving your responsibility for somebody else. That boy is 16 years, he's a teenager. At that age, their decision-making, the prefrontal cortex is still developing. They are not able to make sane decisions. Their hormonal changes are there. Everything is put in my book on how you can understand them so that you have a relationship. Now, this particular parent and this boy do not have a relationship as father, son, or mother to son. I think that's the boy, right? Yeah. I think it's a boy, yes. They do not have that relationship. There's no connect between them. There's a gap in their communication. And that's why you sit back and say, why is this woman sending me to a place where I don't even understand? This is a boy that was born in the UK. I don't even understand the culture. I don't understand anything here. Mommy is definitely running away from me. Mommy feels she cannot handle me. And so I've been left emotionally abandoned, if you listen to what was written there. And you know, children of these days actually can articulate exactly how they feel. No, listen.
They can craft anything for you.
No,
Go
listen.
ahead.
They can articulate how they feel. Growing up, we're not allowed to feel more than anger and what's the other emotion? Happiness and anger. We could not really articulate our feelings. But we have, you were giving me a story of your child now who will sit down and tell you exactly how he's feeling. That's Imran. Exactly. That's not how you grew up, right? So what I see here is the parents need to do better. Parents generally, aside from this case in question, need to do better in connecting with their children. When you connect to a certain level to your child and you understand what's going on in their head at that time, even if you want to send that child to Africa, it's something you sit down and have a conversation. There's a reason I want to send you here. There are certain things I want you to learn from our culture. You will go for a few years and you will come back. And that child will not have that problem. But when you now say, okay, I'm going to send you as a form of punishment to that place so that they can raise you, why are you not raising me? Not be you born me.
Okay, I'll come to you, Nima, in a second, because I also want to put a perspective in.
Okay.
Because I know that some people, they realize that their children are spoiled somewhat.
Spoil them.
Because you're in a society where everything, you have electricity, you have food, it's cheap, and you don't understand where you're coming from. So sometimes when they take you back to Africa or to Nigeria, it's like a reset for you that, okay, appreciate that you are living in the UK. Appreciate that you have what you have here. The privilege you have is much more than what others have. So hopefully, maybe the mentality I'm thinking is to help you to reset and appreciate what you have, and then you can see things better. But let me come to you. What are your thoughts on this? Sending?
If that's the intention, that's the insult.
Okay.
So I like what Bisi said. If you have a relationship with your child, no matter where that child go, and you're a parent who talks, I come from a parent of storytelling. My parents explain things. So if you tell your child what the purpose of coming home is, and is a laudable one, the child would understand.
Yeah.
A laudable one would be that I've born and raised you here. I would really like you to see your culture. So I was born here in Lagos, and I couldn't speak my language till I was 13. And I remember how it bothered my parents a lot. My father would say, well, once all of us will go to the village, and you people will stay with my mother, you won't come back. You know, continuously repeating it because he was a problem. So imagine if I had ended up staying in the village. I will know what my purpose is. But you don't bring a child, no matter the age, and from 12 upwards, you assume you're dealing with children. Me, I'm dealing with an 8-year-old every day, my ID white. You know, you assume that they don't know and dump them somewhere without an explanation.
Yeah.
When my daughter had to go to boarding school, she didn't want to. She'll come to me privately and say, Mommy, I don't want to. Her father will call her and say, you need to. This is what I want you to do. And so we were informing the child. I'll be like, me, I don't want to. I'm just praying for your daddy to change his mind. In fact, several nights we prayed that he will change his mind. But he sold the idea of what he would do to her. And now I will call her, Mommy, we're in prep, we're reading. I don't want to waste time. So he needed her to understand scheduling. He explained it to her.
Yes.
He needed her to be disciplined enough to know how important accountability is, unlike going to school and just expecting school to happen. So, funnily, this morning, my son has exams this morning. All through weekend, read, boy, not read. This morning now calls me, hey, Mommy, there's a page in my maths text that there's an assignment I didn't do. Please help me to explain to my teacher. I mean, I just call teacher and tell him the truth. Some of them, they deal with her right now. Yes, because these children we think are not wise. They know exactly what they're doing. You need to, as a matter of importance, talk to a child. Okay. Now, there's a problem in one side. On one side, you know, children of our age will just carry it. Maybe in the future, there's a closure, we are talking, and our parents will understand better. But children of that, who will be the lawyer? Well, see, when did the boy get a lawyer at 14?
Let me go on a short break. Okay, when I come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.